Welcome to the Yappy Hour, powered by Yappily, the podcast for dog lovers who want to better understand and connect with their canine companions. I'm your host, Nathan Dunleavy, and today's episode is a real treat for fans of one of the world's most iconic breeds, the German Shepherd. Joining me is Sue Kewley, a trainer and behaviourist who has dedicated her work to understanding, supporting and celebrating these incredible dogs. Sue is the founder of the Yappy Shepherd, where she helps GSD guardians navigate everything from enrichment to reactivity with patience and empathy. Today we'll be talking about what it takes to live successfully with a German Shepherd, busting a few myths along the way, and celebrating everything that makes this breed so special. So whether you've got a GSD snoozing at your feet or you're just curious about the breed, you're going to find lots of value in this conversation. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's get started. Welcome back to the Yappy Hour, powered by Yappily. I'm your host, Nathan Dunleavy, and I'm so excited to bring you another episode of the Yappy Hour today. We have one of our fantastic breed Pacific experts today. We have the very lovely Sue Kewley, founder of the Yappy Shepherd, who specialises in German Shepherds and supporting their guardians. So excited to find out more about this fantastic breed. So Sue, welcome to the Yappy Hour. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here with us today to celebrate and understand this amazing breed. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Any excuse to talk about German Shepherds.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So thanks for bearing with me just then as well. I'll have to get that bit edited out, or we might keep it in. Who cares? So Sue, for those that may not know about you and your journey, what made you fall in love with the German Shepherd breed?
Well, for me, it went back to when I was 10, funnily enough. I'd always loved dogs. As a small child, I adored all dogs. And
Lovely.
when I was around about 10, we lived next door to a lady that had 4 golden retrievers and 1 German Shepherd. And I was
Okay.
never allowed to take, I used to go out on walks with them, and I was never allowed to take out the German Shepherd.
Oh,
And
okay.
they would never allow me. No, they used to say she was different. You're not allowed to take a German Shepherd out. And understanding that now, now that I'm older, but she and I used to meet behind the shed. There was a gap in the hedge, and she and I used to sit, and I used to sit there and read stories to her, and she used to sit next to me and listen. And I absolutely vowed then that I would have one of my own one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Absolutely love that. What a lovely story. I love when there's a story behind it. Brilliant. So that's what started your love off and then
yeah,
brought you to where you are now.
yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So let's move on to our first section then, which is all about the essence of the German Shepherd. Now, my first question actually, and I probably should know this, Alsatian German Shepherd, are they exactly the same or what?
Yeah, same dog. During the war, the German Shepherd was the word, and I actually in my program I have a history, and it does cover that, just a history module. But
Okay.
basically, what happened was the German Shepherd in Germany was
Yeah.
called the German Shepherd, and they felt that in England it wasn't appropriate to have something with after the war or during the war the name of German.
Yes.
German. So they chose Alsatian because it came from the region of Alsace, which is on the border of France and Germany. And that's how
See.
they, but it's exactly the same dog. In actual fact, it was the Alsatian wolf dog at one point as well, or the German. Yeah,
Okay.
so it is the same dog, but in
Yeah.
sort of like purist German Shepherd Alsatian circles, there became a time when it was, if you bred the English type, it was called an Alsatian. And if you bred the German type, it was called a German Shepherd. But in
I
actual fact,
see.
it's the same dog.
I often wonder that because growing up, I mean, I've recently turned 40, but growing up, my great nan had Alsatians and they were known as Alsatians. And then as I've got into dog training the last sort of 10 years, all of a sudden, I haven't heard the word Alsatian, but I've heard German Shepherd. I'm like, well, are they the same? Or is it just they got two names? And I've often wondered that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Thank you so much. Every day's a school day. I
Yeah,
love that.
absolutely.
So, what makes German Shepherds such special companions in your experience, Sue?
There's a combination. I think they're innately sensitive, which is a double-edged sword. They are because they are hyper aware of their environment, because they're bred to herd, because they're bred to be environmentally sensitive. That also
Mm.
it makes them aware of our emotions also, which means that
Mm.
basically if you're having a bad day, your German Shepherd will know about it. Um,
Okay.
and so there had been we used to when the children were little, they used to pretend to cry, and then the dogs would go, "Oh, what's wrong?" And they'd come and sit and go, "Can we come and sit next to you and be big and strong and look
Oh,
after you?"
yeah.
And if you're poorly, there'd be a dog parked at the bottom of your bed. Yeah, it's there's a lot that
It,
makes them so loyalty, their protective nature.
I was going to
Um,
say, it's almost like that protectiveness, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
absolutely.
thinking.
They're devoted to their family members. Um, although they do choose their favorites, but they're not one man dogs. Like you can send that away. They do enjoy their family, and
Very family
we
oriented.
used to when the kids were little, we used to try and lose the children when we're out on a walk in the woods. Oh, go and hide behind the tree, and the dog would go, "Hang on a minute, there are fewer people here now," and they would run back and go and find the kids. They'd
Oh,
go and
wow.
play.
Make a game of it.
Yes, they'd go and play hide and seek. Yes,
I
yeah.
love that.
There was no man down.
Oh,
There was no man left in the woods.
brilliant. Oh, I love that. I was going to ask you another question anyway, but do you have a few German Shepherds yourself now? You mentioned you had a puppy just offline.
Right, I don't have any German Shepherds now. I lost the last of my line because I bred them for 35 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I lived with them.
Wow.
I went into it deep.
You
I mean, I
did.
had my first German Shepherd in '83, and then I subsequently got into obedience, and then I subsequently got into exhibiting and just doing all and breeding and all that sort of thing. And so I had a line, and Roma was the last of
Yeah.
my line, and we lost her
Okay.
in 19 sorry in 2023. And I said
Oh,
then
bless.
that I wouldn't have another one. So I now, yeah,
Really?
because there are too many things for me that have changed in my life that mean that I can't
Sure.
give them the kind of life that I had been able to. So I couldn't
And
do
that's
that now.
sensible.
Yeah,
That's so sensible.
yeah,
You want to give it the best
yeah.
life.
So
Yeah.
I've got Spaniels and Labrador now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Well, I love that. No, fair play. So, Sue, what traits do new pet guardians, German Shepherd guardians, often underestimate when they bring a GSD into their lives?
Well, we were talking about this double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Um, it is they because they notice every detail, and because when people see German Shepherds, they go, "Oh, that's a really intelligent dog." I see it. The police use it, and they see it
Mm,
under really under conditions where it's been trained well. So they think that it's an easy dog, and they
okay.
underestimate how sensitive they are, how emotional they are, how
Mm,
they can change from one to t'other really rapidly, how they can, because they're so bright, it's so easy
mm.
for them to learn incorrect habits, um,
I
or
see.
habits that are undesirable. So they will actually go what I
Yes.
call self-employed. They'll actually go self-employed.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what people tend to underestimate. They just see this
Sure.
intelligent dog and they go, oh, yeah, it's really intelligent. And then all of a sudden they go, oh, yeah, but it's learned to do this.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They used to. It's the flavour of the year, isn't it? They used to have a bit of a bad rep, didn't they? GSDs, and then before it moved on to something else. That might be what you mean by those undesirable, unfavourable behaviours because they go self-employed.
Yeah, German Shepherds were one of the first sort of bad dogs, really, because people were scared of
Mm,
them. And then
mm,
they were sort of the macho dogs, weren't they? They were the sort of the bad lads would have them before they changed to that and then that and then that. It's not a they're not an easy dog to keep, and so I think it became obvious that you couldn't really look macho with a dog that actually they couldn't train well themselves.
mm.
So no, it was very much a case of they did get a bad rap, but then when you have a dog that is in a situation that isn't ideal, where its needs aren't being met, it's the
Mm.
same with any breed, but more specifically with a dog that learns really, really quickly. And also when the wheels fall off, um, people remember a German Shepherd because of its size, because of its
That's
power.
it.
If you get
Yeah.
bitten by a poodle, it's bad, and the
Yeah,
same
but not.
same level of arousal is there, but it's not the same scale.
I
Um,
know. Yeah.
so it is very real, and I think that's
Yeah.
why people are frightened of them, still
Yeah.
frightened of them. There's a lot of yeah, there's a
They've just got
prejudice.
that. They've got that presence about
Yeah.
them, haven't they? That big bravado, that presence, and unfortunately, the media and press and films haven't helped with a lot of the bad dogs, and a lot of it comes down to the owners, doesn't it, and stuff. So yeah, bless them. So how would you describe the emotional needs of a shepherd compared to some other breeds, Sue?
Okay. So German Shepherds have an inherent negative bias. It's always about what could be wrong. What is that noise? It's bound to be something bad. So that is very much where they are basically. So can you just repeat the question again for me? I've gone off on a
Of
tangent.
course, yeah. No, no, it's all good. No, so just could you describe the emotional needs of a German Shepherd compared to some other breeds?
Okay. So emotionally, although they look as though they've got all this bravado and they're making all this noise, they actually need
Mm,
emotional support. You need
sure.
to be their buddy. You need to create a
Yeah.
safe bubble. You need to be able to say, right, I've got this. You can stand down. You haven't
Mm,
got, yes, by all means, thank you very much for telling me there's somebody here, but actually I've got this now, so you can go and settle down and switch off.
yeah.
And what often happens is that people quite like the idea that their German Shepherd is quite protective. Um,
Yeah.
and so the dog will be fence running and going, there's somebody here, and they're going up and
Yeah.
up and up and up. And
Yeah.
it's that then adds to an awful lot more adrenaline and an awful lot more
Mm,
stress hormones within the system. And so they need to be able to be switched off, to be able to rest, to be able to relax and rewire. Basically, that's
mm.
that's what I always think of. So it's you are they are you have to advocate for them, and there are
Yeah.
times where you need more. You need to do this more, and that would be when they are adolescent. They completely lose their stuff when they're adolescents. So yeah,
Yeah.
they always seem to get kicked out of the puppy class around 14 to 16 weeks.
Oh, oh no. Bless her.
Yeah. And that's the major
Oh.
difference because by that time they're starting to look like a German Shepherd. Instead of being this little
Yes.
fluff ball in amongst all the little small furries or even the medium sized furries,
Yeah.
this thing suddenly comes in at 16 weeks and goes, hello, who are you lot? And then they start to
Yeah.
bark. And they feel the same on the inside.
Yeah.
There's all the other the other dogs, but
Mm,
because people then go, oh, hang on a minute, I've got one of those aggressive German Shepherds. They then tighten up the lead. The person,
Mm.
and this has actually happened to me, this happened to me many, many, many years ago. The trainer came over to me and said, right, tighten up your lead and make sure that they don't do this and make sure they don't do that. And he actually wanted me to use a choke chain and to strangle the dog. I wasn't able to do that, and he then sent me into the corner, sent me out of the way, and said, "You can't be in this class." And I'd gone from having a
God.
puppy and being full of beans, and then one day he went in, and this is the emotional roller coaster. German Shepherd owning it's that's what it's like. They 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 do come out of it, but you
Yeah,
need
they
to be
do.
you need to. That's when I get most of my phone calls, when you've got a
Right.
16-week old German Shepherd, and it's
Uh,
I've been they've been told that they need a firm hand and all that sort of stuff.
it's
Even
the worst
even
thing.
even now, it's oh, well, you've got one of those dogs, you've got to be firm with them, don't you?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we want to be setting them up for success, and that's what a bit of a theme is advocating. We want to be our dog's superhero, and it definitely sounds like they need that, don't they?
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant. So we've touched a little bit on this, but on our next section, which is all about the common misconceptions and stereotypes. So obviously we did touch on it a little bit, but German Shepherds sometimes can have a reputation for being, in inverted commas, scary. What myths would you love to bust today, Sue?
Okay. I like the you've got to have a firm hand, because actually
Yeah.
I will counter that with you have to be dominant and all this sort of stuff, and this couldn't be further from the truth. And what I actually counter it with is the tight leads trigger, because if you've got an animal who is naturally a herder, that feels good in motion and feels good when they chase, and then you
Mm.
start to apply tension and force,
Mm.
what which is what people normally do when their dog starts to react and get scary. People
Mm.
gather them up, put them on short leads, hold them really tightly. Then the dog starts to, it's a bit like a jack in a box. You
Yeah.
apply that pressure, and the more you
Pressure.
do that, the more that it will come back. And
Mm.
so one of the things that I do is to help people make a connection with their dog and see
Mm.
how gentle they can be and how quiet they can be, and just watch what their dog can actually pick up on without
Yeah.
coming the hot and heavy. And because more often than not, I will have the husband wife team, and I'll have the,
Mm.
well, I can handle him because I'm strong. And then it's, but my wife can't. My wife's scared. And that really,
Oh.
really pleases me, because I go, right, okay, I can give you the confidence to have the relationship that you want with your dog, because I don't very
Mm.
often want to deal with, we do, but I don't find it as easy to deal with someone that is quite biased in their opinions. So I enjoy empowering the ladies
That's
that
nice.
have been told that they are unable to handle their German Shepherd, and to bring
Yeah.
out that. So that's a really, so in a roundabout way, that's a myth, but also you have to be strong to handle it. You have to be dominant to handle a dog. You have to. I'm 5'2", and you know, I've been handling these dogs for decades, and it's not about
Yeah.
strength. It's about getting them to work with you, and even dogs that aren't mine, once they know what you're doing, and once they know that fear goes and that adrenaline goes,
Mm.
you actually find the dog that you're able to work with. So yeah, get rid of all your misconceptions, and then look at
Yeah.
and if they were a dangerous dog, or if they were a scary dog, they wouldn't be herding sheep. They wouldn't be breeding them to herd sheep. And they are
Mm.
so reliable when it comes to herding sheep. They don't do it like a
Right.
collie. They don't do it like a collie.
Okay.
They actually are mobile fences. So up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, and then they're keeping an eye on anything that comes in, and then they might go up that way. So in Germany, they will use them to segment, keep them off this crop and put them on that place.
Yeah.
So, and if somebody moves out of line, they just go along and say, right, you're not supposed to be there. They'll
Right.
barge, same as you've seen if you've seen them play, they'll barge into them, or they'll griff, which is bite on just the shoulder, but not badly. And then the sheep goes, oh, okay, I apologise, I'll go back again. So if they
Yeah.
were, if they were dangerous or whatever, they wouldn't be doing that. But again,
Definitely.
they're bad people and they're bad dogs. But as a
Yeah.
breed, if they're well bred and well brought up. But then we won't get
Yeah.
into all that.
Yeah. It sounds like to me it comes down to connection, doesn't it? Really, it's
Yeah.
about connecting them with them.
Yes,
Mm.
connection rather than control. This is something
Yes.
that I learnt decades ago with Sarah Fisher
Oh
and
yeah.
the Tellington
Yeah.
Touch and what have you, when many moons ago with Linda Tellington Jones and what have you.
Oh
Connection.
yes.
Connection is really
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Connection over correction
Yeah.
is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, Sue, do you think that their intelligence sometimes works against them in pet homes if their needs are not being met?
Yeah. I think if their needs aren't being met, they will start to get into a loop of, okay,
Mm,
an obvious one that I just had this evening. If the dog is has continued to not have their needs met by maybe appropriate exercise, maybe appropriately addressing their emotional needs, and then they bark at the window. They bark at the window because people are walking past, and then of course they get into that, oh, that works. That then gives them a relief, which means that they go and do it again. Oh, look, there's somebody
sure.
there, apprehension, frustration, fear, bing bing bing, barky barky bark, and then it then becomes relief. Okay, that's really good, I'll do that again. And
Yeah.
something like that will become like a loop. And
Mm,
yeah. And if you then get somebody turning up and then a door gets left open or a gate gets left open, then you've got a dog that is on that loop going, oh, heck, I
mm,
don't know what to do now because I've always had the barrier of the fence or the barrier of the window to prevent me
mm,
from getting to the thing. All I've done is just bark at it and it's gone away. It's They don't properly learn how to make good choices if they aren't taught properly. And that's why
mm.
socialization and meeting their needs is really important. Meeting their needs also mentally by giving them an outlet. We aren't
Yeah.
going to be able to give them the gating at 15 miles an hour for all day or whatever, which is what they did or what they were bred to do originally. Although your dog isn't likely to do that, but it is we've got to be able to say, can they forage? Can they have sufficient exercise? Can they use their brain? Can they
Mm,
and all that sort of stuff? Do they have a job to do? Um, can they switch off?
yeah.
All that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. And what impact do you think, we did touch on it earlier again about media, but what impact do you think breed portrayals in the media and film have had on expectations?
I don't know because I don't tend to watch them because I don't like watching dog movies because if the dog dies and that's it, I can't watch.
Oh, I'm the same. God, what is it? Fine. What was it? Marley and Me
I
or
couldn't watch
something?
that.
That one.
No.
No, God. I know I quiet everything anyway. Something sad on TV, but if it's got a dog in, I'm gone.
No, absolutely. I don't.
No, I think what it is that they've just been in the films where they've been the guard dogs at the
Yeah.
scary house, and they've been with the baddie, and unfortunately, that's then moved over to real life because then they attract a certain type of
Yes.
person.
Yes.
Is me putting it in a roundabout way?
Okay. So, yes, definitely. When I was breeding, you would get a certain type of person at that time that would want a German Shepherd, and you'd have to weed them out. You'd have to go, well, no, this isn't the right dog for you.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's the same with a lot of breeds, though. And yes, the guard dog image is also, and also the bringing down the personal protection stuff. You know,
Yeah.
the Mallee has got that pretty much sewn up now. The Shepherd has come away from that, but you do get a lot of the East German Shepherds still working in the police and still
Right.
being in the protection in that line with
Yeah.
patrol dogs, a lot of Czech patrol
Yeah.
dogs as well.
That's it.
Yeah,
And and I think that's where, like, unfortunately, I don't like to talk about it too much because we're a positive reinforcement show, but you see a lot of the aversive equipment on these types of breeds of dogs, unfortunately, because they're
yeah,
being used for a certain.
yeah. And very often, one of the first things that I talk about in my programs, I've got an equipment module. It's basically what's your dog
Oh,
wearing?
good.
Why are they wearing it? I would like you to change it to this. It's not an option. And basically, and so yes, you do need to have equipment that is going to support your the connection with your dog so that you can
Mm,
you know, well fitting equipment is really really important. Well fitting
mm,
harness, a double ended lead, that kind of thing. But yeah, because, and certainly some places that not in this country, the it's more normal to see dogs wearing prongs,
exactly.
and stuff like that. As German Shepherds wearing
Yeah.
prongs, and just breaks my heart. Absolutely, because that was one of the biggest things that
Yeah.
when I realised how sensitive these dogs are, and then you think, my God,
Yeah.
they get such a bad rap. They really do.
Mm,
They are they people tend to use too much force because they, again, we've said, that's where they think it's supposed to be, that what you're supposed to do,
yeah.
but also they tend to
Yeah.
put all this equipment on because they feel unable to control the dog, so they just lump all this
Yeah.
equipment on.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Vicious circle.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
And I think, like, as well, I say a lot on this show is that it comes down to education, owner education, and unfortunately, you don't know what you don't know. And if a member of the public, Joe Public, saw a policeman or a dog being used by the police in that equipment,
yeah,
they're going to think, oh, the police use it, it must be okay,
yeah.
because they don't know,
No, no, that's right.
which is a
Although, to
shame.
be fair, the majority of police forces in this country, I do believe, now use positive methods.
Yeah,
I
good.
believe.
That's yeah, that's good. Right, lovely. Thank you. So moving on to our next section, which is again about meeting the needs of the shepherd. So meeting the shepherd's mental and emotional needs. What does a fulfilled and happy GSD's day-to-day life look like in your view, Sue?
Okay, so I think the need for foraging is really, really important. So sniffy walks and being able to use a Kong wobbler, for example, that's
Yeah.
something that a Kong wobbler. And so did my German Shepherd. She would love. So on days when I couldn't do everything, it would be a Kong wobbler and let's go out in the garden, let's go find stuff, let's do some scent work, let's do some that kind of thing. Let's just do a few tricks just to get the brain pattern going. On good days when when you've got the time, a blimmin' good walk, a blimmin' nice beach walk, it's great. But I never used to, because they're so big and you don't really want them landing on something like a bag of spanners. You actually want them to be, so they don't have particularly good brakes. And
Sure.
although they're a medium-sized dog, they do, but some of the bigger dogs. Anyway, so I would always get them to wait. and then lob something and then send them on to a dead toy, that sort of thing. And something else that I used to do would be I would throw a not exciting toy, and then I would do a
Right.
call that, so they would, and send them, and then I would do a call that meant you've got your really exciting toy and it's going that way. It's going in the opposite direction. And it would be, oh
Yeah.
great, we're going. And then they would, yeah. So just
Love that.
something that keeps them with you. When I go on the
Mm.
beach, I used to want to have my dogs, I still do, but when I had Roma as well, I would want her with me. I wouldn't want
Mm.
her bothering about what's going on over there, who's that over there, what are they doing. I haven't checked their papers. Are they supposed to be on the beach? I don't. I don't need that.
Yeah.
So things that get them involved, and by all means, yes, allow them to be a dog and allow them to go and paddle and allow them to go and just check out stuff. But yeah, engagement, I think, is really important,
Yeah.
because the look on their faces when you go, right, we're going to do 10 paces of heel work, and they go, oh, yeah, I'm just going to come back, because they know at the end of it they're going to get their ball dropped or they're going to get something. So food puzzles
Brilliant.
and training games and that sort of stuff. And the
Love
usual,
that.
yeah, and the occasional, and I mean the good walks. That's what I would do. I think a German Shepherd would be fairly happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds brilliant. So we might have already touched on it, but what types of activities do you recommend for tapping into the shepherd's natural talents?
I think it's something that is available now that wasn't available when I had my shepherds, or not to the extent that it is now. I did working trials with mine. And
Mm.
working trials is great because you have the obedience, you have the agility, you have scent work, tracking, all that sort of stuff. So that's really great. More available now is the man work, not the man work, the man hunting, what they
Oh,
call
the
it.
the man trailing,
Yes, man
in
trailing.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. Absolutely great. I'm going to go and find a person, and oh, look, they've got a ball. They've got my ball, or they've got sausages, or they've got. That's just great. Tracking is the
Yeah.
best thing. Scent work,
Yeah.
tracking is the best thing for a lot of breeds. Certainly spaniels too, my spaniels too. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would certainly say. If I was to get a new shepherd, that would be what
Yeah.
I would be doing. I would concentrate on something like that.
Yeah, man trailing has become really popular recently. And one of my colleagues, she was on one of my mentoring programs. She set up a man training business in the end because she has a German Shepherd, but they obviously had some issues, and she found the thing that helped the most was man trailing, and she loves it. And they go off and do all sorts now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. So, how do you balance providing structure without tipping into over control?
I'm a control freak.
So am I.
Surprise! If you apply too much structure, they'll become frustrated.
Mm.
So you can't be rigid. So predictability, I think, is the best way of doing that. And also working with them and controlling, in quotes, without them realizing they're being controlled. Um,
Mm.
so you're not working against them, you're working with them. You're working
Yeah,
with
love that.
what they want to do. You don't want to over control. You want to keep it balanced. You want to establish clear boundaries. But instead of
Mm.
going, no, you can't, just say, yeah, you've done this. Just, and keeping it simple. Mm,
Yeah.
keeping everything simple. And if you're not getting the behaviors that you're wanting, break it down.
Mm.
Break it right down.
Mm.
If your German Shepherd has got fixated on something that's coming along the beach and they can't look at you, then just stand next to them and just mark it and then scratch the top of their head. Just they will be there. Oh, oh, you are here. Oh, I didn't realize you were here. You have to be
Oh.
able to tap into them as well
Mm.
as and manage it safely without using rigid controls, I think.
Yeah.
Manage things, set them up for success and go, okay, let's be consistent. I think One of the things that I enjoy doing at the moment is, or I did with my shepherds, is to use the start buttons. Shepherds will have quite extreme start buttons. They will come in and drop the ball in your lap, or they will come in and try and get on your lap, or something like that. So if you set a boundary and go, right, okay, the start button is you get on your mat and then we will play ball, they'll within moments they're doing it. So yeah,
Yeah.
give
Mm.
them something that they're able to do, and then they think it's their idea. Great.
Sounds like they just want to please you as well, don't they?
They do, actually. They
Yeah.
do. They just want a good life. They want a quiet life. They want to be able to sort of engage with you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's important.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's not about just constantly saying, "Oh, yes, you're a good dog. Here's some food. Yes, you're a good dog. Here's some food." It's about setting the dog's boundaries and saying, right, okay, if you lie there for half an hour, I'm going to get up and chase you around the garden and play ball for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Being fair, that's how you get the right balance, I think.
Yeah. And like you said about not being too controlling because you don't want to damage that relationship that you're building, do you?
No,
There's got to be some flexibility.
yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much. We're going to be moving on to our next section now, which is real talk. So, challenges of living with a German Shepherd. So, we're getting real. So, what are some of the bigger challenges that you see guardians face with German Shepherds, Sue?
Okay, reactivity has got to be the biggest problem that people find because it's antisocial.
Mm,
People struggle because their dog doesn't like other people, their dog doesn't like other dogs, and that makes
mm,
very often family life or going anywhere with their dog difficult.
mm,
They don't realize that why their dog is being that way,
mm.
and they just see it as being a problem, and it is to
Yeah,
them. It is very much
yeah.
to them. If you've got a dog that is or a dog that will chase another dog in the park.
Mm.
5 minutes ago your puppy was gambling around in the park playing with other dogs, and then poof, they hit the other side of 18 weeks and then they're starting to chase things, you know.
Yeah,
So that's another sort of
yeah.
antisocial thing that very often happens. So I think those are the things that mean that the people almost become a social pariah because of the dog that they've got. And people who said to me, I don't think my neighbors like me anymore because I've got this German Shepherd, and this German Shepherd barks at the neighbor, or I walk down the street and people cross the road. Because if you've got so the reactivity is the biggest problem, I think.
Yeah. And reactivity or being reactive is such a broad term, isn't it? But it's a word that the general public seem to know more about and relate to. But there's a lot of reasons why a dog could be reactive in inverted commas. They could be in pain. Their needs could not be met. So it's about looking beyond the surface, isn't it? Because there's a lot
Yeah.
of reasons why they could be being that way.
Yeah, most definitely. The habits that the dog has got into, the what they've learned, and as you say, there could be pain or discomfort or the needs not being met. It all comes out in the same way. It comes out.
Does
If it's not reactive, then people very often will say my dog is aggressive, or
yeah,
you'll very often hear people saying, oh well, he's a lovely dog, but he's
but
aggressive when he goes out.
yeah,
And the thing is, your dog isn't changing. He hasn't changed into an aggressive dog. He is reacting to the situation that they find themselves in. And what
mm,
you need to do is to seek help, to work on how to help them to cope with that environment, because it's doable. They've just developed
mm,
the coping strategy
that
that they
worked.
have that works for them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Brilliant. So, Sue, if someone is struggling with their GSD's behaviour, what's the first step you suggest they take?
Me.
Phone Sue.
Yes. Um, in all seriousness, see if they are struggling, they need to seek help, because the
Mm,
sooner we actually address something, the easier it is, because the longer your dog gets a chance to rehearse this, the more and more and more rehearsed it becomes, the more entrenched it
Mm.
becomes. And so
Yeah.
what we need to do is we need to say, okay, this is a problem. How can we unravel it? And what do we want the dog to do instead? And one of the,
Yeah.
that's that's basically what they need to do. So yeah, take a step back, look at what it is and what's going on, and find an expert, find someone that specializes in doing in working with German shepherds.
Yeah, in the breed. And also, oh, I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought. So, yeah, it's about there could be something else going on. So take a step back, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're being bad because there could be stuff going on. So, definitely, I like that what you said about taking a step back because they. Oh, that's what I was going to say. But getting help early on before it does get too ingrained and become like a learnt behaviour. That's what I was going to say.
Mm.
Is get help early on when you start seeing it before it gets too
It's
further in
much
too deep.
easier to fix the behavior in a younger dog than it is to fix a behavior in a dog that has developed problems because of that continuous learning. And perhaps had dust ups or perhaps had other trauma going through their lives because it hasn't been addressed early on.
Mm, brilliant. So, why is it so important for shepherd guardians to focus on the dog's emotional needs and not just the training drills?
Okay, emotions are something that we tend to not associate with dogs, but basically we've got rage and fear and play and seeking and all those emotions that are available, and your dog isn't doing what they're doing because it's bad or it's just for the heck of it, because
Mm.
it just wants to spoil your day. The dog, there is an emotional reason why your dog is doing what they're doing, and it
Mm.
could be apprehension or frustration, or it could be because it feels good, pleasure, delight. They want to chase the little dog in the park. That makes them feel great, but it's not really. So we need to understand that they are an emotional creature.
Yeah.
And the hard thing is, German Shepherd emotions seem to be big emotions a lot of the time. A lot of the time, certainly when they're young, when they are adolescent, big emotions, and they change so often, so frequently. But yeah, it's really important because the dog isn't doing it just to annoy you. They are doing it
And
for
that's what we've got. That's what we've got to remember. They're not doing it on purpose or
no,
to annoy you, like you say. They're not that clever, are they?
nope, nope, they're not.
uh, bless. And I think what you said is obviously it's because they are bigger dogs that they give off that more bigger roar, don't they?
Yeah,
Bless them.
yeah,
I just wanted to share a little story before we start wrapping up. That my first dog walking client 7 years ago was a German Shepherd,
right.
and she was quite a young one, but her name was Etna after Mount Etna, which I think's the volcano in Italy or something, because one of the
Yeah.
owners was Italy, and oh my god, wasn't she like a volcano? But she taught me so much because I just started my dog walking business. I was doing solo dog walks, and so you attract obviously certain types of dogs.
Yes.
And I just learned so much from her. I got a picture of her that came up the other day, and I just learned so much from her. She's, yeah,
And your
brilliant. They're lovely dogs.
response there is really, really interesting, because people that have had a relationship with a German Shepherd will always remember it. Always.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's huge, and I don't know why. You speak to anybody, and they'll go, "Oh, well, I had a German Shepherd once, and beautiful dog. Oh, it's wonderful dog. I've never had another dog like it," or something like that. And it's very true. And then when you spoke about that just then, it was, "Oh yeah, and she was lovely, and she taught me so much, and all that sort of stuff." But yeah, we do. We get really attached to this.
yeah.
They wheedle your way into your heart. They really do.
Well, yeah, and they just leave an impression, don't they? That's what she's done.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, bless her, Etna. Yeah, brilliant. Love her. Right. Oh my goodness. We've sailed through this episode. It's literally been jam packed full of so much useful information about German Shepherds. I've loved it. And look, we've got a few on our books still now that one of my colleagues walks, and they're just fascinating characters. Lovely dogs. So we're going to spend the next 5 minutes or so, Sue, just wrapping up with some final questions and thoughts. So, Sue, if you could give one piece of advice to someone considering getting a German Shepherd, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that's always really hard.
You take your time.
Yeah, gosh.
Do your research often comes out when I ask this question to our breed specific experts.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
your
I
research.
think it's always really important to ensure that you get your puppy where it has that good start in life. You know,
Good
someone,
breeder.
yes, a good breeder. They have an early onset hazard avoidance, German Shepherds do, which means basically they are aware of what's going on around them, probably more than labs, more than any other breed, apart from I think it's a wolf. That's the yeah, basically. So that means that if they live in an isolated environment, even if it's clean, and they
Mm,
don't get the challenges, i.e., multi steps and all this sort of stuff like puppy culture gives them, um,
mm,
that it doesn't that they don't realize that they aren't going to die when something bad happens. Okay, so they've basically got to have those challenges throughout their early life from about 4 weeks onwards. So it's the breeder's job. So my big question would be where you're going to get it from. Have they done the health checks, and are what are they doing for mental and physical stimulation for that puppy now,
yeah,
when the puppy is still in their care. And then be
yeah.
prepared to be kicked out of your puppy class. I probably wouldn't recommend going to a puppy class. I would say go into the real world and do your socializing in the real world.
Yeah, yeah. I think as Brits or as humans, we think, oh, we must do a puppy class, but sometimes they're not suitable for all breeds, are they?
I don't think they are. I really don't think they are. They're
Yeah,
very area specific. German Shepherds need an awful lot of, when things aren't area specific, proofing, they need an awful lot of proofing
yeah,
and to do things in
yeah,
different places. So
yeah.
over the
And
years, yeah, I did a lot of marching around school halls and scout huts with my dogs. And to be honest,
yeah,
I think going to the sort of the school of life was probably the best thing. It really was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down again to education because again, we think of socialization as chucking it into a puppy class, but that is not proper socialization.
No.
Like you say, what school of real life is better.
Yeah. Go down the local park and sit and watch the world go by.
Yeah,
Watch the
definitely.
world go by.
Yeah,
Don't let the dog chase the dogs around the car down the park. Don't let your German
yeah.
Shepherd play with other dogs in the park. On a lead, sit and watch, and then they can,
Sit and watch.
yeah. And then there's a couple of little bits of hello, sniff, and then away.
Bit of bit of engage and disengage
Yeah,
game, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I went off on
Sue.
one there. Sorry.
Oh no, I love it. You're so passionate, and I love that it oozes from you. Sue, what's the most rewarding part for you in helping shepherds and their people?
Oh, that's a good one because it's unlocking the the relationship when you
Love
first
that.
meet when I first meet my German Shepherd and my person, they are at loggerheads. They don't like each other particularly. They don't understand each other, and they're
Oh,
both struggling. And my job is to go in there as a translator and to unravel everything and go, right, there we are. This is, and then oh my gosh, I got a message from someone the other week, and she said, "Oh my gosh, when you first came through, I had no idea what you were doing, but I totally embraced what you suggested, and Now I love my dog, and I think she loves me.
Oh,
And
that
that's,
must be
oh
rewarding.
my gosh,
So
it's
rewarding.
worth
Do you
all
know?
the stress.
Do you know what I loved? What I picked? You said translate. They're lost in translation, and
Yes,
you're the translator. I
yes,
love that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love that. You should coin that one. Brilliant. Perfect. Thank you, Sue. So, where can people find out more about you and learn about the Happy Shepherd, please?
Okay, so the website is www.thehappyshepherd.com. On there, if you're a professional or if you are a guardian, then there will be the relevant little buttons or bits and pieces to press for you. I'm going to make sure that there will be something on there that people can download, tips, or I did a positive interrupter. And I've got a little booklet on a positive interrupter, so
Oh,
I'll upload
okay.
I'll pop that on there so people can download it. Um,
Was this the freebie you were meant? I didn't know whether to mention it or not. You
yes,
wanted to do a freebie for the listeners.
Yes, yes. So that will be on the website, or before this goes out, we can potentially have a link for that or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
we can always put it in the show notes. It'll be a
yes, in
little
the
while
show
before it
notes.
goes
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Because it's really important to have something just to be able to look at and go, okay, I
yeah,
might not need it now. It might come in handy. So yeah, my positive
yeah.
interrupter. Yeah.
Love that. So, and you're on like your show. You got your socials as well. Yeah, that
Yeah,
are all
socials
similar.
I'm on as Sue Kewley or Sue Kewley Practice. So
Yeah,
if you just do a search for Sue Kewley, do a search in Google for Sue Kewley,
yeah.
Kewley, and you'll find me. There aren't many of us
Brilliant.
around. So yeah, that's it. Because I do work with other breeds, but German Shepherds are my passion.
Are your thing? Yeah, and you like to specialise. So, just tell us that website again, please, Sue.
www.thehappyshepherd.com.
Perfect. Sue, you've been one of our Breed Pacific experts today on the Yappy Hour, talking all about the fantastic and fascinating German Shepherd breed. And I've absolutely loved it. I've learned so much today. So thank you for joining me on the Yappy Hour powered by Yappily. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nathan, for inviting me. It's been great fun.
You're most welcome. We'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
Wow, such a brilliant and insightful conversation with Sue Kewley. Here are just a few key takeaways from today's episode. Number one, German Shepherds are emotionally deep, not just physically capable. They thrive when their mental and emotional needs are truly understood and supported. Number two, they aren't easy, in inverted commas, working dogs. They're sensitive, thinking individuals. Without guidance, patience, and connection, even the cleverest shepherd can struggle. Number three, enrichment, structure, and compassion are all non negotiables. It's not just about training drills, it's about partnership and communication. Number four, stereotypes don't define them, guardianship does. A well supported shepherd is loyal, loving, and deeply rewarding to live with. Sue, thank you so much for sharing your passion and experience with us today. And to everyone who's listening, if you're thinking about bringing a German Shepherd into your life, or if you already share your home with one, check out The Happy Shepherd for loads of brilliant resources and support. If you loved today's episode, please consider leaving us a review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dog lovers. This has been the Yappy Hour, and I'll see you next time.